Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today is January 23rd, 2026. And I want to start with a little thought experiment.
Okay.
Just picture your morning routine today. You woke up, probably grabbed your phone before your eyes were even, fully open.
It's the modern reflex, isn't it?
Totally. You check the weather, maybe a message to your partner, you glance at your work email.
See what fresh hell awaits.
That's exactly. Now, imagine you do all that and just nothing. The weather app just spins and spins. WhatsApp has that little clock icon that never becomes a check mark.
Server connection failed.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't mean for 5 minutes. Imagine that has been your reality for the last 16 days.
That is the exact situation on the ground in Iran right now.
And we've talked about internet blackouts before on the show. Usually it's a pretty standard script, right?
Right. There's unrest, the government panics, and they pull the plug for a few days to stop people organizing.
It's a temporary tactical move. Then the lights come back on.
Usually, yes, that's the standard playbook. But the data we're looking at today suggests this is something fundamentally different.
Different how? Just because it's longer.
It's not just the duration. This isn't a pause button. This is a launch button.
A launch button.
We are witnessing what experts are calling a live test of a completely new digital infrastructure. Leaked documents are calling it the barracks internet.
Barracks internet. That does not sound friendly. It sounds like something you get issued with a uniform.
It's militaristic by design. The goal isn't just temporary censorship. It's to retrofit a whole society into what some are calling a digital caste system.
A caste system. That's a heavy term. So internet access based on who you are.
Precisely. It's an attempt to turn the World Wide Web, the worldwide part, into a privilege for the loyal few.
While everyone else, 90 million people get locked inside a digital box?
That's the plan.
Okay, that is a massive claim. So today, we're going to unpack this. We'll look at this white sim thing, which sounds like it's from a spy movie.
It kind of is.
We'll talk about why experts think this is basically economic suicide, and then the resistance, this cat and mouse game with Starlink.
And we have to start with that term you picked up on, caste system. Because it's not a future plan, the architecture is already built.
Okay, walk me through it. What does a two-tier internet actually look like?
Okay, think of it like a massive office building. You have the general lobby, that's tier 2. That's the domestic intranet.
Limited scope. You can see the directory, maybe get a coffee.
Very limited. Then you have the VIP elevator. It needs a special key card that takes you to the roof where you can see the whole city, talk to anyone. That's tier 1.
The global internet.
A global internet?
So who gets the key card? I'm guessing they aren't handing them out.
That's the whole point. Tier 1 is for the elite. Regime insiders, top officials, certain journalists. All cleared by intelligence agencies.
So while the rest of the country sees connection error, these guys are just scrolling Instagram.
They are. They can see the BBC, use Telegram, everything.
Right.
Meanwhile, tier 2, that's the public, 85, 90 million people. They're cut off.
They can only see websites physically hosted inside Iran.
And approved by the state. It's a nationwide corporate intranet.
You can read the company newsletter, but you can't use Google.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And the key card, the physical mechanism, is something called the white SIM.
The white SIM. It sounds so cloak and dagger. Is this a new thing they just rolled out?
See, that's the wild part. It's not new at all.
What do you mean?
The regime has been quietly issuing these since about 2013.
Wait, 2013. For over a decade, there's been a secret internet club.
Yes. For a small group, about 16,000 people at first, it was this open secret among the elite. If you had the white SIM, the firewall just didn't exist for you.
No VPN needed. Your IP address is just pre-cleared.
Exactly.
How did this not blow up sooner? Surely someone talks.
It was rumored, but it was confirmed just a few months ago, November 2025, in the most embarrassing way possible.
Oh, I love a good tech slip-up. What happened?
You know the platform X, formerly Twitter?
Sure.
It's been banned in Iran since 2009, strictly forbidden. The public needs illegal VPNs just to see the login page.
Right. Rules are rules.
Except they're not. In November, a bunch of government ministers apparently forgot to turn their locations feature off.
Oh, no.
They started tweeting, and the tweets were geotagged Tehran.
You're kidding.
It was right there. They were using the very platform they banned from inside the capital without a VPN.
That is just the definition of brazen. It proves the hypocrisy is a feature, not a bug.
And it didn't even shame them. It almost emboldened them. A government spokesperson, Fatemeh Mohajerani, is on record about this current blackout. She said international access won't return until late March.
2 more months?
At least. But listen to the next part. She said the internet will never return to its previous form.
Never return. So the live test is actually the rollout. This is it.
That seems to be the goal. A researcher at Witness, Masa Ali-Mardani, she argues the regime is terrified of one thing in particular.
Which is what?
Documentation. If you control the pipe, you control history. If a protest happens in a Tier 2 zone and no video can be uploaded, did it even happen?
It's the tree falling in the forest, weaponized.
Exactly. They want to prevent Iranians from, quote, telling their own truth. A monopoly on reality.
Okay, I have to ask, because my brain immediately goes to China, the Great Firewall. It works there, right? Isn't this just Iran copying the China model?
You'd think so. It seems like the obvious template, but the experts we're reading say, no, it's fundamentally different.
Why? A firewall's a firewall.
It comes down to timing. I mean, look at North Korea. They have an intranet, Gwangyang, but they built it from scratch for a population that never had the internet. They were building on an empty lot.
Right, you don't miss what you never had.
Exactly. Now, China, they built the Great Firewall over 20 years, slowly, methodically. But, and this is the key part, while they built the wall, they also built a whole city inside it.
You mean the apps?
Yes. They blocked Google, but they built Baidu. They blocked Amazon. They built Alibaba. Blocked WhatsApp. Built WeChat. Your digital life still functions.
So China built a lifeboat before they sank the ship.
That's a great metaphor. Now look at Iran. They are trying to seal off an economy that's already connected. They're trying to do in weeks what China did in 20 years.
But without the lifeboat. They don't have their own WeChat.
They have these clunky, state-monitored apps that crash all the time. A guy named Kaveh Ranjbar, he used to be at YPE NCC, he calls it a digital airlock.
A digital airlock. Sounds suffocating.
It is. He says you can't just retrofit an airlock onto a house not designed for it. Modern software is built on dependencies.
Break that down for a non-coder.
Okay, say you build an Iranian ride-sharing app. You host it in Tehran, you think you're safe, but the app uses Google Maps for navigation, it uses AWS for some backend stuff, it might even use a font library hosted in California.
So when the government cuts the cord,
your local app breaks, the map doesn't load, the payment processor fails, you're breaking things you didn't even know were connected.
which brings us to the money. Because if you break the app, you break the business.
You break everything. And the cost of the 16-day live test is, well, it's astronomical.
Do we have hard numbers?
We do, but it depends on who you ask. The deputy communications minister claims the loss is manageable, about $4.3 million a day.
That sounds suspiciously low for an entire country.
It is. NetBlocks, the independent watchdog, they estimate the real cost is over $37 million daily.
37 million a day.
And that's just direct GDP. It doesn't count the, the ripple effects. Over 10 million Iranians depend on these platforms for their jobs.
Can you give me a specific example? Something to make that number real.
There's a perfect one. A company called Tipax.
Right. The delivery company, like their FedEx.
Yeah, vital infrastructure. Before this test started, they were processing 320,000 shipments a day.
A day. That's huge.
Now, since the blackout, they're processing fewer than a few hundred.
Wait, hold on. From 320,000 to a few hundred. That's not a slowdown. That's a flat line.
It is a 99.9% collapse.
How is that even possible? Can't they just drive the trucks?
It goes back to those dependencies. Their sorting centers are automated. Their drivers use GPS. Their customers track packages on apps. You sever the connection. The brain of the company can't talk to the limbs.
You're lobotomizing your own logistics.
And here's the kicker. The regime knows this is happening.
Why keep doing it? If you're bleeding 37 million a day, why not stop the test?
Control over profit. They're even punishing people who hesitate. Look at what happened to the CEO of Irancell.
The mobile operator.
Second biggest in the country, 66 million subscribers.
Right.
The CEO, Alireza Rafieh, was fired.
Fired for what?
For disobeying orders on restriction of internet access.
So, he was fired for delaying the shutdown, for trying to do his job.
It seems so. He blinked and he was out.
That sends a chilling message to every other tech executive. Comply or you're next.
Exactly. And now the foreign partners are getting out. Engineers from MTN Group are leaving under security escort.
So who's left to run things?
The Revolutionary Guard. Their construction arms, maybe some limited help from Huawei. The internet becomes a military barracks, hence the name.
This all feels incredibly bleak. But people find a way, don't they? What about VPN's workarounds?
The old tricks aren't working as well. But there's a new player in this cat and mouse game,
Okay.
and that's Starlink.
Elon Musk's satellite internet.
Right. It's illegal, obviously. But activists have managed to smuggle in an estimated 50,000 terminals since 2022.
50,000. That is not a small number of satellite dishes to hide.
No, it's a dedicated underground network. And crucially, SpaceX has made the service free for Iranians thanks to some sanctions exemptions from the Biden administration.
So if you get the hardware, the data is free.
Exactly. You bypass the local system entirely.
So is that the answer? Does Starlink make the barracks internet irrelevant?
I wish it were that simple. The government claims they've already located and cut off 40,000 of those connections.
How? How do they find them?
Signal jamming and triangulation. The regime has trucks that drive around, literally listening for that specific frequency. When they find a signal, they can pinpoint the house.
That's terrifying, like old spy movies.
It's a high-tech version of that. It's an arms race. SpaceX pushes a firmware update to make the signal harder to find. The regime gets better jammers.
So you have 50,000 terminals punching a hole in the sky and jamming trucks on the street trying to plug it.
And the consensus is the regime has the ultimate leverage. You can't patch software to fix a knock on your door.
So let's land the plane. 16 days in. They say this is the new normal. What's the end game?
The endgame seems to be a redefinition of what a country is. The Georgia Tech Internet Lab is calling this the most sophisticated and most severe blackout in Iran's history. They're measuring connectivity at about 3%.
3%, that's basically nothing.
It's a flat line, and experts say it's unsustainable. You can't run a country on 3% connectivity. The banks will fail, supply chains will rot.
So something has to give. The firewall cracks, or the economy completely collapses.
That's the tension. But the regime seems to be betting they can survive the economic rot better than they can survive a political uprising.
They're choosing poverty over dissent.
A poorer, controlled population is safer for them than a prosperous, connected one.
A tragic calculation. You know, we started this talking about the World Wide Web. We take that for granted. But this proves the global internet isn't a guarantee, it's a choice.
It is, and we're watching the active dismantling of that choice, moving from a global commons to a series of walled gardens.
Which leads me to the big question I want to leave you with. We're watching a major country try to retroactively unplug itself. If Iran succeeds, even partially, does this become the blueprint for other authoritarian regimes?
That's the fear. If it works there, who tries it next?
Is your passport about to determine not just where you can go, but what truth you're allowed to see? It's a question we all need to be watching.
Absolutely.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening. Stay connected while you can.